Hello y'all, this is The Failed Revolution, a Hearts of Iron 4 mod that asks the question, what if America failed to break away from British control in 1776? In this timeline, among other things, what we could call the USA is a dominion of the United Kingdom. The French dominate Europe after winning the last anti-French coalition war. Germany never united, and Russia never intervened in the struggles of the Western powers. We're on the country select screen now, and all of the nations here, 8 in total except for Japan, had their own focus trees. And with that said, let's go over each of these countries briefly, starting with the French Republic, which is led by a Bonaparte. Then we have the Dominion of North America, the United Kingdom, Prussia, Austria, Japan, Russia, and finally, the Kingdom of Sardinia-Piedmont. Let's see what features this mod has, and let's go to the political tab now for the UK, just to get an idea. Oh wow, that's a nice little double portrait there for the Prime Minister and the monarch. But let's see the ideologies. We have democratic, socialism, Jacobinism. That sounds somewhat unique to this mod. There is non-aligned, a Hearts of Iron 4 classic, I would say. Then finally there is monarchist. Well, lastly there's monarchist, well, monarchism, and that's the ideologies of this mod. So I think like 5 in total it appears. And let me check out what Jacobinism is. I think the French Republic is Jacobin in terms of ideology. Yes, it is. So let me read it here. It says, for the description, embracing the ideals of the French Revolution and its outcome, radical Jacobins are heavily anti-monarchist and prefer the rule of a tightly centralized, quote-unquote, enlightened government that can protect them from monarchist threats. So it's basically anti-monarchism, the ideology, it seems, at least just by reading that description. Well, just centralized anti-monarchism, I guess, if you want to be more specific. And let's look at the focus tree. Seems pretty nice. I think this is just an opening focus tree, so this would switch if you went through it. And let me just check on a country that doesn't have a unique focus tree, like Norway here. They have a generic one, but it is a pretty nice detail that it looks like this mod has its own unique generic focus tree for all of the countries in the world that lack a, well, more national focus tree that's not unique to them. I'm just saying the Failed Revolution has a pretty nice generic focus tree for like its minor countries and whatnot. Now let's go to technology. See, that looks about the same as vanilla HOI4. Yes, and this mod does take place in 1936, the first start date in vanilla Hearts of Iron 4, and I am running this on a no step back version of Hearts of Iron 4, which explains the lack of the aircraft rework, because that's the last version this mod runs on, since it never got updated to By Blood Alone, and as far as I know, unless anything changes, development has ended on TFR, well, the Failed Revolution, as of recording, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Let us now see all of the countries in this mod's world in 1936. We'll start in Africa, then go over to Oceania, then to Asia, then to Europe, then to South America, and then end our little trip in North America. So, starting off in North Africa, there is French Algeria, there is also French Tunisia, just a lot of subjects of the French Republic in North and West Africa as a whole in this mod. And we have Spain, who controls a lot of Morocco, I think all of Morocco. There's Tripolitania, who is a puppet of the Ottoman Empire. We have British Egypt. That is a thing. There's Ethiopia. They're independent and they're surrounded by the British. For the most part, we have British East Africa. What's this? French. Oh, the French control. They control French Somaliland. I think that's like Djibouti. Not entirely sure, but going more over to West Africa, there is the Lee Afrique, Equatorial Africa, French Equatorial Africa. Then there is French West Africa, maybe L'Afrique Occidental Français. British West Africa is here. There is Prussia. They control this little part of West Africa and Togo, I think. British West Africa there. And there is no Liberia in this world. I guess Yeah, that makes sense, because the USA was never really around to help establish it. Then there's Portugal and Portuguese Guinea, and that is all of that part of Africa, I guess. And going south, there is Portugal, and they control a large portion. They connected Angola and Mozambique, evidently, in this world. We have British Southwest Africa, and the Kingdom of the Netherlands in South Africa. And here is the French Republic. Now let's go over to Australia, and here we have the Swan River Republic, who is a puppet of France. There is Australasia, who controls Eastern Australia and New Zealand and part of Papua New Guinea. There is the Kingdom of the Netherlands. We have the British Malayan Federation. There is, what's this here? The Kingdom of Spain. Never lost the Philippines in this world's timeline, because, well, there was no Spanish-American War, I guess. Then we have French Indochina, Siam, the British East India Company, which still exists in this world's 1936. China evidently went into a warlord era in this world. So there is, well, in this timeline, there's Yunnan, the Guangxi clique. Here is the United Kingdom, who has a greater foothold in China in the failed revolution. Here is the Provisional Government of China in Eastern China. Well, Eastern China, I think. Then we have Japan itself, who controls Korea and Taiwan. There is Russia, very big Russia, controls all Manchuria, or most of it. There's Qing China, the Ma clique, the Republic of China it's led by Chiang Kai-shek. We have Tibet, the state of Xinjiang. We also have Bhutan, and Nepal. Let's head into Central Asia now. Well, not Central Asia, but the Indian subcontinent, since Russia pretty much dominates Siberia and Central Asia and the Caucasus region. So going into the Indian subcontinent, we have the Maratha Empire that exists. The Sikh Empire still exists. There is the Nizam of Hyderabad. The British East India Company is in the southern part of the subcontinent. There's the Kingdom of Mysore, and Ceylon is controlled directly by the United Kingdom. Moving on, there is the Nawab of Sindh, which is an independent state. Here is the Durrani Empire. They're based out of Afghanistan. Going east of them, we have Persia, the Ottoman Empire, who did not fall apart in this world, it looks like, by 1936. There's Jabal Shammar and Nij in Arabia, so there's no, like, Saudi Arabia. Here's Oman. And I think that's it for all of Asia. It appears very centralized, very powerful Russia here, and Japan as well. And a divided India and China. And I did mention Siam, I'm pretty sure. Just I'm hoping not to miss any countries. And it's going to get very fun in Europe, which we're heading into now. So here we have Bulgaria, the Tsardom of Bulgaria. There's Greece, Serbia, Albania, Montenegro, Romania, Austria. Very big centralized Austria. Like no Austro-Hungarian Empire. It's just Austria. There is Prussia, no German Empire, but they do lead a faction called the North German Confederation. Sweden controls Finland in this world's timeline. Well, in the failed revolution's timeline, here is Norway. They are a junior partner of Denmark, so effectively Denmark is the puppet there. Well, Norway's a subject of Denmark, it looks like. And then into Germany, we have tons of little German states like Mecklenburg, Schleswig-Holstein, Hanover, the Grand Duchy of Oldenburg. There is Bavaria, Württemberg, the Grand Duchy of Baden, and the Grand Duchy of Hesse. Is that it? Oh, we also have the Grand Duchy of Nassau. I think that's it now. And that is it for Germany, which is very heavily divided. And also, Italy did not unify in this mod by 1936. We have Switzerland going down into Italy. Italy now. We have the Kingdom of Sardinia-Piedmont, Austria, who is very much like Venice and all that. We have the Duchy of Lucca. There is the Papal States, the Grand Duchy of Tuscany, the Kingdom of Two Sicilies, and I think that's it for Italy. So that's Italy, the Italian peninsula in this world. And then over in Western Europe, there is the French Republic, who is very large, very powerful, no surprise there. They lead a faction called Alliance Française, and they have a Dutch Republic puppet, so I guess the Kingdom of the Netherlands is in exile in this mod's timeline. Then in Iberia, there is Spain and Portugal. Then over in the British Isles, we have the United Kingdom, who's very strong. They control Ireland. They control everything in Britannia, basically. And also, I do want to note, Denmark has Iceland and Greenland under their control. Let's move into South America now. Here we have Brazil, the Patagonian Workers' Front, who's fighting 3 of their neighbors, and they are notably socialist, and they are basically Argentina. Then there is Chile, Bolivia, there is the Peruvian independent state, and north of them is Gran Colombia, which controls what could be called the countries of Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, and Panama, because there's no U.S. intervention in Panama to make that a country. I guess also Gran Colombia just didn't fall apart. And what's this here? The Kingdom of the Netherlands controls a Suriname, or whatever, how you would say it. Then there is the British West Indies, and let's go into Central America now and the Caribbean as a whole. There is Spain, who controls Cuba, because, like I may have said earlier, no Spanish-American War in this timeline. There is the Dominican Republic. We have Haiti. Who else is here? There's Jamaica under the control of the British West Indies. Now in Central America, there's Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Colmegua, which I guess is a different name. It's not Honduras, but I guess it's also kind of Honduras. Then there is El Salvador. It looks like San Salvador, my bad. There's Guatemala. Here's the British West Indies and Belize. And north of that is a very big Mexico. There was no Mexican-American War in this timeline, evidently. They have California, Texas, and Utah under their control, Arizona, and Nuevo Mexico. So New Mexico, they control a lot. Very powerful, very large Mexico. Speaking of large states in North America, we have the Dominion of North America, which is basically Canada and a lot of the USA. Well, what could be seen as the USA in our own world combined together to form this massive state. And there is Russian Alaska. And with that, I'm going to end this video here. This has been the failed revolution. I hope it gets updated one day. It may not, though, so I can't really say there. But if you enjoyed this mod, you can check it out in the video description. The link to it is there. If you enjoyed the video itself, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.